the Mets. The Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really stocking the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets from New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where they go to meet the Mets. Oh, they're hollering, they're cheering, and they're jumping in their seats, where they go to meet the Mets. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball called the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really solid the ball. Knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Of New York town.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and I'm streaming from your home for chat tutorial, strategy, player profiles, history, news, and much, much more. And we are going to broadcast a game 40 of our 2019 Deep Drive Baseball Mets replay. And we're using iScore on this. Now, I made a quick iScore tutorial video yesterday, which I was not happy with because I didn't get the right distance for the camera to the screen, and it was hard to see. I'm also, I can't track my phone right now, so if anybody's trying to text me and email me or contact me, you're going to have to wait till I find it. It's around here somewhere, just not totally sure. I started tidying up yesterday, making space on my shelves and so on, and just adjusting things. And I misplaced my phone. So anyway, I want to do a little bit of a tutorial today for a couple of things. So I'm going to go slow tutorial and then a little bit fast gameplay speed, and then I'll slow down again to do tutorial. So let me just introduce the game just very quickly. With Deep Drive Baseball, it's a 50-50. And you have the batter 0 to 49, and then you have the pitcher 50 to 99. Now you roll a red die, and that's the lead die, and then you roll the white die, and that's the ones die, if you will, the 10s and the ones. So that would be a 60, a 69. So then, of course, 0 to 49 is off the batter, so 69 would be off the pitcher. And then, of course, it would be 65 to 71 is a base on balls. So 69 falls within that range. It's a base on balls. So McNeil walks. That's the way that works. Now, if it were an out, if it fell 80 to 89, that would be an out on the pitcher's card. And let's say we rolled a 4, it would be a ground ball, hard hit ground ball right at the second baseman. And that's the one nice thing that I like about Deep Drive. It tells you if it's a slow grounder, an average grounder, or hard grounder. Hard grounders are mostly with runners, first and second, or bases loaded, or usually double plays when it's a hard grounder. And that's how the game's pretty much, that's how you read the cards. Now, when you land on a deep drive, you're going to look at the deep drive section. Now, this is an issue, a small issue that people have to, a little bit of a learning curve here. So let's say I roll either 0 to 07 deep drive off McNeil or 50 to 56 deep drive off Hellickson. Let's just say it's a a deep drive roll off Hellickson is a 53. So immediately that tells me, okay, go to the deep drive chart. Now you have a little insignia, usually on the first number and the last number. There are usually 4 rows, and but it doesn't go all the way through the number. Like 00 to 31, McNeil has park card 0 to 14. So if you roll, okay, so now we re-roll, right? We figured out, okay, we rolled the 53. It says, oh, deep drive. Okay, I got to go to deep drive chart. So then you re-roll, and we're going to re-roll a 0, a 04. All right, 04 tells us, okay, this is deep drive home run, except there's a sit insignia. Now that 04 falls within the park range, 00 to 14. So that means we're going to have to go to this card right here. We're going to have to go to that card. And what we do here is we look at that number. And if that's a 0 to 5, that ball's gone. If this ball would have been an 8 or an 8, it would have been a fly ball deep center field, and that has a potential of moving runners up. You have to look and check. That's how it works. So now that's because you rolled a 04, and that was in the park range because 00 to 14. But let's say you roll a 24, 00 to 31. So the 24 falls within that deep drive range. So you don't have to use the green now because it's outside of the 00 to 14. It's a 24, but still within the home run range. So that is a straight out home run. Now, if you look at a guy like Alonso, he's got the I believe it only goes to 04. It's like 00 to 04, and then he's got all the way to like 58 home runs. So he'll usually, 9 times out of 10 hit a home run when you roll that first row deep drive roll. So let's do a little playing and let's see how it goes. You got Jeremy Hellickson on the mound against Noah Syndergaard, so it's a decent game. Using iScore to track the data, and we're gonna roll. So Jeff McNeil is leading off, and I'll tell you the lineup for the Mets. The 2019 lineup for the New York Mets is Jeff McNeil in left field batting first. Ahmed Rosario, they've moved him to the second spot. He's at shortstop. Batting third is Robbie Cano, the second baseman. The cleanup man is Pete Alonso, the first baseman. Michael Conforto, the right fielder, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Wilson Ramos. The catcher, batting seventh, is Brandon Nimmo. The center fielder, batting eighth, is Todd Frazier, the third baseman, and Noah Syndergaard is the pitcher. Play ball. All right, so 97. So that it tells us it's higher than a 50. 97 is an out. We look at the 4 as a ground ball. Hard hit ground ball right at Dozier. Throws to Parra, who's playing first. And that's 1 out. So that was quick. Ahmed Rosario. It's a right-handed batter. And that's a 26, so that's going to be defensive check. So this is a good one to slow down on. So 26 off of, because it's 00 to 49 off the batter. So this is a 26-2-6. You read the red first, and it's going to be a defensive check. So I got to pull the defensive chart. Let me see where I can find that. Now I have my defensive charts color coded. So this one's green, and it's a defensive chart. So we're going to roll now, and 0 to 41, we're going to look at the error side. So let's roll. All right, it's an 87, so we know we're not going that way. Had I rolled to this other side, I would have to re-roll. Since so now we're going to roll on this. So we're going to use that roll 87. And we're going to go all the way to find out that 87, you just basically look this way right here. 87 goes to our center fielder, Victor Robles. And I believe he's at least a 3, and 87 under a 3 is a catch in center field. I'm guessing that he's a 3. Now, I'm starting to write the numbers on the screen for the players, so I don't have to do that. So center fielder is Robles. Let's see if he's at least a 3, he makes the catch. And in center field, he is at least a 3, so he makes the catch. So got decent range out there, and he runs it down. So that's 2 outs. So that's how you play that. So next batter is going to be Robbie Cano. Now, one thing I really like to see on the iScore screen is the batting averages and so forth, RBIs and home runs. That would be great. All right, this is a pretty low number here. Low numbers are pretty good, and also mid-range numbers like a 50 to 60, 12, and that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through into center field. Picked up by Robles and gets it into the infield quickly. So Robbie Cano is singled, and now it's Pete Alonso. All right, now this is interesting because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. Because right now, if I roll a, let's say, Pete Alonso 0-0 to 0-7 deep drive, if I roll a 0, let's say I roll a 0-2, well, it's deep drive on Alonso, right? But with a runner on base, you have to check to see if it's a wild pitch or a balk or a pass ball. So this wouldn't go to Alonso's home run. It would go towards to check a wild pitch. I feel like it's robbing players of home runs. I don't know if it's just in my mind. So I'm trying to think, how can I beat that system? You know, I'm thinking of rolling 4 dice, but that would be crazy. Or dice on the side. Or then I was thinking of rolling a D20. A D20, and so I believe it's a 5%. So I guess on the D20, it would be a 1. Right? Because D20 at 2 would be 10%. So 5% would be a 1. So if I just rolled a D20 on a 1, it would be 0 to 5. So then I could still roll what I want on these. So let's try it. All right, so it's going to be a 70, right? A 70, and that's going to be Jeremy Hellickson. A 70 is going to be a walk. So Alonso walks. All 4. All right, so the Mets are mounting a little bit of a 2-out rally here. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to roll. And, oh, I almost had a 20, but that wouldn't have made a difference. 80. So this is going to be off Jeremy Hellickson. That's going to be an out. What kind of an out? It's a 5 out, and that's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. Diffo flips to Dozier, and that retires the side. Mets leave 2, score none. And at the end of half an inning, it's 0-0. All right. So now it's Adam Eaton against Noah Syndergaard. Syndergaard was 10-8 with a 4.28 ERA, 197 innings pitched. That's going to be a 65, and that's going to be strike 3. Noah Syndergaard blows a fastball by Adam Eaton. Next is Robles, and he's playing center field, batting second. Then it's going to be on deck is Juan Soto, left fielder. In the 4th spot is Anthony Rendon, the third baseman, no longer a national. Batting 5th is Gerardo Parra, the first baseman. Batting 6th is Brian Dozier, the second baseman. Batting 7th is Yan Gomes, the catcher. Batting 8th is Wilmer Diffo, the shortstop. And Jeremy Hellickson is the pitcher, batting 9th. Victor Robles there. That's a 44. That's going to be off Robles. A 3 is a ground ball to the first baseman. Now on a 1 or a 2, he flips to the pitcher. I roll a 2, so that's Pete Alonso. Flips to the pitcher, and it's about 25%. So 1 and 2 is a 33%. It's close enough. Don't worry about it too much. It's not the end of the world one way or another. It's just a little quirky thing that I do. All right, Juan Soto's batting 3rd, and ready to roll. 41, and that's going to be an out of 5. That's a hard hit ground ball to the shortstop Rosario. Better get rid of it quick, and he does, and gets Soto hustling down to first. All right, Wilson Ramos, Jeremy Hellickson, top of the second. That's a 0-5. All right, 0-5 is beyond Wilson Ramos' deep drive, but it's within his single range. So that's line base hit, played on a hop by Juan Soto. And it's Brandon Nimmo. That's a 44, an out. a 3. Now a G5, that may be a fielder's choice. We're going to check. G5 with a runner on first is a B. It says lead runner forced out. That's a 5-4 fielder's choice. Runner out at second on a force out. All right, Todd Frazier, the Todd father. All right, that's a 35, and that's going to be an out on Frazier's card. A 7 is a fly ball left field. Waiting for it to come down is Soto. And that is out number 2. And next is Noah Syndergaard. Now, Noah Syndergaard bats lefty. He's has his own pitcher hitting card. You get all the cards with Deep Drive Baseball. 0-5. All right, this is interesting because I'm glad this came up. Because 0-5 on Syndergaard's card is a strikeout. Excuse me. Had it been off Hellickson's card, like a 51 or a 52, a deep drive. Well, I got some nasty shade here. Let me fix that a little bit. There, that's better. Got rid of the shade. Okay. Had it been a deep drive, it's a deep drive off Syndergaard's card, but it's going to be strike 3. Blows it by him. Had it been off Hellickson's card, then you would have to look at rare 8. What does that mean? That means if this is 8 or less, the green dot is 8 or less, you can go to his deep drive chart. If it's a 9 or a 10, you would not. And they have the same rare with singles. It would have to be a 5 or less for a single to happen. A hit by pitch would never happen, and so forth. All right. So that's how that works. That's how that rare works. No base on balls, never. So he never walked. And that's it for that inning. So it's Anthony Rendon leading it off here in the. I hope you can see pretty much the whole card. Let me pull that up a little bit so I think I can get the bottom cards in there a little bit better. All right. So it's Noah Syndergaard facing Anthony Rendon. That's a 78. That's going to be a defensive check. So we go to the green chart. Go to the green chart. Reroll. That's a 36. That's 0 to 41. 0 to 41 tells us to go to the error chart. Okay, so we're gonna have to re-roll. If you end up on the error chart, you got to re-roll. 62. We would go scroll down to 62, and it goes to the third baseman check. Now my third baseman is Todd Frazier. I believe he's a 3, so it's going to be an E1. So it's going to be he boots the ball on a ground that goes off the heel of his glove, rolls away, and it's going to be an E5. But we're going to check just in case. I know he's at the end of the lineup, and he is a 3, so that's an error on Todd Frazier. All right. So Anthony Rendon is on. Now, steal, he's a 0 steal. I'm not a big stealer. I'll do that if it's somebody I feel that I want to steal, but otherwise, I'm not going to worry about that right now. And it's a simple system. It takes into consideration the arm, the pitcher hole rating, and the steal. That's going to be an 18 off of Para. And an 18 is a strike 3. 1 out. So Para strikes out. Curveball gets him. Brian Dozier. That's a 17, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Noah Syndergaard. Bringing the heat right now, Noah is. Yan Gomes, 2 out, 1 on. That's a 29. That's going to be right outside of defensive range. A 29 is an out. What kind of an out? I guess it's a 5. Ground ball to short. Rosario flips to Cano, and that retires a side. It's that easy to play this game now. The reason some cards are red on top and black is I try to print out on black and white at the beginning when I started this project. I didn't know whether I was going to like it, so I said, oh, let me just not use color ink. So then when I started saying, hey, this is pretty cool, then I started printing everybody out in color. All right, so it's Jeff McNeil. We're in the top of the third inning. We're doing a tutorial on deep drive baseball. Trying to take my time on what seems a little bit more complex. So it's going to be a 0-3, so that's a deep drive roll. And I can show you how that works here. So a deep drive roll means we're going to roll on the deep drive chart on Jeff McNeil's card. So we're going to have to re-roll with the green die. And I mean, somebody could choose to use that result, but you know, then you automatically know what's going to happen. So for the drama, I rather re-roll. So this is lifted to deep right center field. Adam Eaton and Robles on the run. So we're going to see what happens with this. I'm going to go slow because there's the insignia there, 0-14, and there's an insignia on 85-99, which basically tells you, oh, go to the ballpark card and take a look at what's that. So let's see. So our ballpark card result is going to be an 8. So that already tells me, depending. Let's see what happens. So we roll a 0-8, right? That takes us to 0-0-31. So it's a potential home run, but it also falls within the ballpark. 0-0-14. That's the ball deep center field, and there's going to be one out. So the players who hit more home runs would, of course, have fewer numbers covered by the insignia. The ones that hit fewer home runs, although McNeil had 23 home runs, which is a decent amount, but they would, of course, have a little bit more numbers covered. And then they usually have all numbers covered on the flyout. So flyouts can carry over the fence, and sometimes the home runs can get caught. So this is a really cool system, and it adds to the drama. And at Nationals Park, it's 0-5 is a home run, so that's like 50% home run in their park. So it's a really nice system because you have that drama and you re-roll and you don't know what's going to happen, and it's like it's either exhilaration or the agony of defeat. Drink a little bit of coffee here to wake up. Ahmed Rosario, he's 0-for-1, he flat out. That's a 23, and that's going to be a defensive check. Again, we look at, so we have plenty of defensive checks, which is nice. And it's going to be a 93, so we're just going to scroll down the range check. Defense, 93 is going to be the right fielder, Adam Eaton. He's a decent right fielder. I'd say that he's definitely not going to be a 1, which is the only single here. So 80% is that he catches the ball, right? So let's look at Adam Eaton real quick here. I don't like when I do this. I have these guys here, got these guys here. All right. Adam Eaton is a 3. So that's like a kind of your typical number. So he makes the catch in right. And that's going to be 2 outs. Now I'm going to put, since you can't, you know what I'm doing? I don't like what I'm doing. I'm actually writing, hold on a second. Let me do this here. All right, I'm putting my hand in front of the screen to jot down. I don't know why I do that. To jot down the data. So I moved the screen to my right. And that's going to be 1 out, or 2 outs. Excuse me, 2 outs, and it's going to be Robbie Cano. That's a 63, so we're going to have to look off of Hellickson's card, and a 63 is line base hit right field. So Cano is 2 for 2. And that's going to bring up Pete Alonso, who walked in his first at bat. And that's a 15 on Pete Alonso's card, and that's ball 4. So first and second, 2 out for the Mets. And here in the top of the third, it's going to be Michael Conforto. He's a left-handed batter. Michael Conforto batted .257 with 33 home runs, 92 RBIs. Here's the pitch. That's a 39. A 39 is going to be an out. It's going to be a ground to the short. Wilmer Difo is going to flip to the second baseman, Dozier, and that retires the side. I just make that up to the shortstop. I mean, does the shortstop flip it or does he throw to first? It really doesn't matter. I just don't care about that too much. That's not recorded, and it's I just do a little bit of both every so often. I just alternate in my brain. All right, so Wilmer Diffo's coming to the plate against Noah Syndergaard. We're continuing our deep drive tutorial. 75, that's going to be off Noah Syndergaard's card. A 75 is a strikeout. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard so far. So Diffo heads back to the bench with his head down. And now it's Jeremy Hellickson. That's going to be a 14, and that 14 is a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Noah Syndergaard. And it's Adam Eaton with 2 outs. That's a 40. That's going to be an out. An 8 is a fly to left. Back goes McNeil to his left and makes the catch, and that retires the side. Wilson Ramos leading off the top of the 4th. We're going to start moving a little bit faster until we get to something outside the norm. 80 is an out, and it's a 4. It's a hard ground ball to second baseman Dozier. Plays it on a hop. Let me go back real quick. Out, 4-3. Okay. So Ramos grounds out. And it's Brandon Nimmo. He's 0 for 1. He hit a fielder's choice early on. That's a 55 on Hellickson's card. Now, the better pitchers have fewer deep drives, generally speaking. So this is going to be deep drive, so we're going to re-roll. And it's going to be a 73. So that automatically tells us that falls within doubles range, and that's going to be a ball that's driven into the gap. That's going to bounce off the wall. Robles plays it in. The throw to second, not in time. 1 out double for Brandon Nimmo. So let's have a run in scoring position for the Todd father, Frazier. Here's the pitch to Frazier. That's a 23, and the 23 is going to be strike 3. So Hellickson gets Frazier on the curve, and Noah Syndergaard now in a position to help himself. See if it happens. That's a 17, and the 17 is strike 3, and that retires the side. So the Mets got a run in scoring position, but failed to capitalize, and it's going to be Victor Robles leading off the bottom of the 4th. Victor Robles batted .255 with 17 home runs. Played in 155 games. He's 22 years old. That's 37. That's going to be an out. A 3 is a ground ball to first. A 1 or 2, he flips to the pitcher, and he does. So Alonso flips to Syndergaard covering. Oh. What is going on here? All right, that's a 9-7. A 9-7 is going to be off of Syndergaard. It's going to be an out. A 4 is a ground ball to the shortstop. In the hole, long throw, and gets him. Juan Soto out, 2 outs, and Anthony Rendon, the always dangerous Anthony Rendon. That's a 0-1. That's a deep drive on Rendon's card. So we're going to roll again, show you how to do this. So it's a 34. That falls within the home run range. And if you look at the park range, now Rendon hit 34 home runs. So that we rolled a 34 as well. And that falls within the home run range. And the insignia only goes up to 10. So we don't have to check the ballpark card. We don't have to check that, because the 34 falls within the 0 to 37 range, which is beyond the 0 to 10 range. That would make us look on the ballpark card. Let's just say we had rolled a 0 to 10. I'm sorry, 0 to 10. Then we would look here. We rolled a 3, and that would be a home run because it falls within the 0 to 5 range. Okay, so as it stands, that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes McNeil to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. 1-0. Washington. Anthony Rendon showing us his power. All right. Gerardo Parra now. That's a 69. A 69 is a strikeout. Falls within the strikeout of Noah Syndergaard. Next is, and that's the top of the order coming up for the Mets now. That retires the side. The Washington Nationals in the bottom of the 4th pick up a run. It's top of the 5th now. McNeil, Rosario, and Cano. Pitch from Hellickson. That's a 44, and that's a ground ball to third baseman Rendon. 1 out. Ahmed Rosario with a 99. A 99. Now, on 49 and 99, if it's a line drive, it goes back to the pitcher. But this is not a 5 right there. It's not going to be. It tells you what kind of, it's hard hit ground ball up the middle, and Defoe gets to it, throws on the run, and just gets Ahmed Rosario by half a step. And Rosario is asking the bench to look at the play at first. And they're holding up play here, just checking it. And it looks like they're not going to challenge. So Robinson Cano with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. It's 1-0 Washington. That's going to be a 65. We're looking off Hellickson. That's ball 4. So Robbie Cano walks, and that brings up the always dangerous Pete Alonso. I think he had 2 home runs in yesterday's 2-0 victory over the Miami Marlins. So Pete Alonso starting to pick it up with the bat here. Got off to a little bit of a slow start. All right, here goes the pitch from Hellickson. And that's going to be a 92, and that's a ground ball to the third baseman. Rendon throws him out, and that retires the side. All right, Brian Dozier's leading off the bottom of the 5th against Noah Syndergaard. That's a 7. Another strikeout for I wish the scorecard would also give you a number next to the strikeouts so you know how many, so you don't have to count them every time. 5, 6, 7. 7 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. And it's Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes grounded out his last at bat. That's a 66, and that's strike 3. Number 8 for Syndergaard. I gotta have a little K chit. I could do that. I could have little numbered chits and put it along the side. All right, Wilmer Difo, 2 outs. That's an 18, and an 18 is a strikeout. So, and that was Noah Syndergaard strikes out 4 in a row and strikes out the side. Holy moly, Noah is on fire. As Utah Mike says, en fuego. If you're not checking out that replay, that 77 Yankees replay using payoff pitch, you must. Outstanding, a lot of fun. Sports Time Machine, Utah Mike. Michael Conforto, Jeremy Hellickson, top of the 6th. Hey there, Cosmic Jerry. How are you, brother? Let's go Mets. All right, this is a 48. That falls within the outrange of Conforto. It's a 3. It's a grounder. Let's see if it's a 1 or a 2. It's a not. So the Gerardo Parra takes it himself. 1 out. Wilson Ramos. Ramos is 1 for 2. That's a 49. That's an out. A 1 is a pop-up, and that's going to be middle infield. And he's a righty, so that'll be to the shortstop. If he's a lefty, I make it to the second baseman. Nice and simple. Brandon Nimmo. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. It's a 70, 76, and that's going to be a strikeout. Hellickson gets him on a curveball, and that retires the side. We go to Jeremy Hellickson batting now against Noah Syndergaard. Scores 1-0. 1-0 Washington here in the bottom of the 6th. That's a 0-6, and that's a base on balls. So Hellickson walks. He's on at first. I'm wondering if that's the first walk allowed by Noah Syndergaard, and it is not. It's the 3rd walk allowed by Noah Syndergaard. 3rd walk. Oh, wait. No, 1. Hold on. That is the first walk allowed by Noah Syndergaard. So Adam Eaton now. Now bunt. There's no real bunt ratings. So, Chris Witt in his design of the game, and I've talked to him, he basically mentioned how he wanted to keep it as simple as possible. Not, he wanted to keep the nuances of the game without making it So there's some things that are lacking. I mean, you can bunt, but it's basically goes more by, did you roll a strikeout? If the guy strikes out a lot, well, then he's not going to be a good bunter. That's the sort of thing. You lose your power if you bunt. So you got to consider all those things. I'm not a big bunter anyway, so that doesn't bother me. And if I'm playing the 60s, that's a different story. So it's Adam Eaton. He's just going to roll away against Noah Syndergaard. Here's the pitch. That's a 71. A 71 is going to be strike three, another strikeout for Noah Syndergaard. So Victor Robles, that's strikeout number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, number 10. So I'm going to keep that on the right here on a 20-sided die. I'm going to put 10 there and now tell me. So Victor Robles now with 1 out, runner on first. That's a 29. 29 is going to be a defensive check. Those are always fun. Never know what's going to happen. All right, so we're going to look at the defensive chart. We're going to roll. It's a 19. That tells us to go to the error chart. So we're going to look at this chart here, and then we are going to roll again. And that's a 79. 79 is going to be a shortstop fielding error, and Rosario, I believe, is a 3. So it's a one-base error. Rosario picks it up, but errant throw pulls Alonso off the bag. And he is a 3, yes. So that's going to be an E6. It's official. The official scorer says he should have had him with a good throw. So it's going to be an E6. And that's going to be first and second now. First and second, 1 out, Juan Soto. So here's the pitch from Noah Syndergaard. Now, around the 6th and the 7th inning, you got to start checking for fatigue and endurance in modern games, particularly in modern games. So he's gone around twice. He's got 10 points. So you basically subtract the points. He's got 10 points. So he's gone around twice, and I'll do that here. He's gone around twice in the lineup. He's allowed a run. That's 3 points consumed. And it is he's gone 5 innings complete. So that's a total of 2, 1, and 5. Has he pitched 3 consecutive innings of perfect ball? No, he has not. He has not. He's been close, but he has not. So he can still go. He's consumed 8 of his 10 points. After this inning, it'll be 9 out of his 10 points. All right, so that's how basically it works. You got to look in the rules. There's a couple extra things, but those don't come up very often. So it's Juan Soto. He's a left-handed batter. Juan Soto batted .282 with 34 home runs and 12 stolen bases. Heck of a player. Showed up during the World Series. Was struggled there for a little bit, but then I think had a couple of key blasts. So Juan Soto against Noah Syndergaard. Hellickson takes his lead off second, and Robles takes his lead off first. Here's the pitch. That looks like a 60. That's close enough to a 60. 26. 26 is going to be a strikeout. That's out number 2. That's number 11 for Noah Syndergaard. Holy smokes. All right, and it's going to be Anthony Rendon. Now, the always dangerous Anthony Rendon. Now, this is a guy to be reckoned with. 319 batting average, 34 home runs, age 29. That's going to be a 58, and that's going to be a ground ball single. So Rendon sends it through the left side into left field. A 58. So now we got to look here. We got Jeremy Hellickson. Jeremy Hellickson is on second. His running is an F. He's not a good runner at all, and that's going to be an issue here. So they're going to have to hold up. So, oh wait, he's fast. That means he's fast. Hold on a second. All right. So since there are 2 outs, see, there's a question mark on a regular single, not a single plus, because they're different. So on a regular single, he's a question mark. So since he's fast, that means that with 2 outs, he's going to be very fast. You bump it up 1. So very fast runner. You see it says right here, with 2 outs, shift 1 to the column. So that's kind of cool because he was running on contact. We're going to try to score Hellickson. And I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to use the blue option chart. The blue option chart. And it's very simple. There's not an arm rating and all that. That's another part that's kind of missing. But, I'm fine with it. Anyway, because, that our whole arm rating thing is like the guys with good arms are not going to get assists and, because nobody runs on them. So it's kind of hit or miss, So then you have those guys, but then you have the guys with the weak arms, and they're going to get assists. So ultimately, it's backwards. You figure, okay, the guy with the good arm gets a lot of assists, and the guy with the poor arm doesn't get any assists. But no, it's usually so. Since it's a backwards thing anyway, what the heck? Just roll to see what happens. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll 2d10 on the choice chart. It goes from 0 to 99. Who would have thought? It's a 13. Now a 13 takes us to 0, 5 to 41, and the runner is safe, 2-0. So that's a single to the left side, and Jeremy Hellickson is going to wave him around, and here's the throw to the plate, and he is safe, 2-0 Washington. Now Robles was at first, and if Robles is fast, I'll send him to third on the throw home. If the batter is fast, I'll send him to second. Robles is fast, so Robles is going to make it to third, but Rendon is not fast, so he is going to hold up at first. I guess that's a homebrew. There may be a rule for it in the game. I don't know what it is. But I could also hold him up by saying I'm not throwing home. All right, so that's another thing you can do. That just make a simple rule so you don't have to be looking stuff up. Just say, okay, if defense said if like he's very fast and I know he's going to be safe, well, I'm not going to throw home. So it's 2-0. Gerardo Parra's up now. Hey there, guys. 0-5. All right, 0-5. That's good. With guys on base, you see, that's what you got to remember. Just up to 0-5. That's going to take us to the wild pitch chart. And that's on the green side. Wild pitch chart, 0, 0, 0, 0, 5, pitcher catcher chart. All right. So we're going to roll on pitcher catcher chart here. See what happens. Now, who's pitching? Syndergaard is a B wild pitch, A balk. B wild pitch, A balk. So let's see what happens. I'm going to roll 2d10. That's an 87. It says if catcher is not rated to play position, it's a pass ball. So that's if you have injuries and that leads to a catcher that's not a catcher. So if catcher is not rated to play position, pass ball. So that's not happening because you got Wilson Ramos in there, so we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to replay. We're going to throw another pitch to Parra. Syndergaard to Parra here, and that's a 47. That's going to be a 9. That's lifted to center field. Back goes Nimmo, makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Nationals add a run to the scoreboard, and they lead it 2-0. Todd Frazier. Now we're going to get a pinch hitter here, so this is where it gets fun. So I'll be able to show you that. Salvador, how are you, brother? Doing a little bit of a tutorial here today for Deep Drive Baseball. Got a couple of guys that are picking up the game, and I wanted to go slow over certain things. Not the obvious stuff, just the certain quirky things. Not necessarily quirky, but just a little bit more complicated. Todd Frazier against Jeremy Hellickson. Now we have to start looking. Hellickson is an 8, so I may have, but he's pitching a shutout. But he's gone over. Okay, he may be done, so we may have to pull him because that's 8 points. He's got 8 points. He's given up no runs, but he's gone through the lineup twice. And he's pitched 6 innings. So he's consumed his 8 points. So he's going to get removed. And that's how that works. Now, if he's pitched 3 consecutive innings of perfect ball, then, and he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't done that. He would get a +1. All right. So he didn't get the +1. So we're going to have to pull him. We're going to check very quickly here and see who pitched in this game. Hellickson, we got a lot of pitchers. Well, Fede and Ross. Joe Ross and Fede both pitch in this game. And you get every player. So Fede and Ross, let's find those. There's Fede and Ross. Joe Ross, that's his batting card as well. Let's put those batting cards in the back. You get every card. Now, the reason they're different colors is because when I printed these out, I tried to go black and white. So the red came out black. Fede, let's see if we got to find Fede here. There he is. There's both pitchers that pitch. You see, you got everybody. Sometimes you got to go into another team because if the guy finished the season on another team, you got to go grab him. And in this game, the actual score of this game was 6-2 Mets. So we're probably going to go in a little bit of a different direction with the pitching because the Mets took an early lead 4-0 in the first in this game. So the pitchers they brought in weren't really pitchers that were meant to, hold or protect the lead. Let's see something a little bit closer. 7-6 game. Let's look in that 7-6 game, see who they bring in at the end. All right, they're going to bring in Bearclaw, Suero, and Doolittle. So let's look for those guys. Those are the more like the guys they should bring in here. Bearclaw, Suero, Wander Suero, Bearclaw. So basically showing you my approach to picking subs. So I just don't use the guy who played in the game. It depends also on the game itself. And these are the 3 guys that would pitch in this sort of close game where they need to preserve a victory. Different from playing in a game where it's a blowout, right? It's a blowout and you're just you need mop of guys. Hey, you're at work right now. Okay, that's cool, I guess. Sunday work. So these are the 3 guys that would come in. And Kyle Bearclaw is going to pitch to Frazier, so we're going to bring him in to the Todd father. He will face the Todd father, Kyle Bearclaw. That's how you pronounce that name. And it asked me include offensive sub, and I will say yes. He's going to replace Hellickson at that position. All right, so he's in the lineup. Kyle Bearclaw. This is going to face. I had to pull him from San Francisco because he finishes the season in San Francisco. All right, so here goes Todd Frazier. That's going to be a 48. That's going to be an out. A 0 is line and caught by second baseman Dozier. So Todd Frazier smashes it on the screws, but right at the second baseman, Brian Dozier. I'm going to bring in a pinch hitter, and it's going to be lefty specialist Dominic Smith, and he's going to get an advantage because this is a righty specialist. So Dom Smith is going to come in to hit. And you have a righty specialist versus a lefty specialist. And that means that the batter is going to get an advantage. Now, this doesn't happen very often, and I could counter this, and I will. I will counter this, okay? And what I'm going to do is, oh, you know what? I'm not going to counter it because I wanted to bring a righty Suero in to face maybe Pete Alonso. I didn't want to counter this. I could bring Doolittle in, but that's a little bit soon because we're only in the 7th. So I'm going to stick to Kyle Bearclaw. So in this case, he's getting the advantage. And you'll see how the advantage works in a second. So let's roll. It's going to be a 39. All right, so 39 is in the out range. But he's going to get an advantage, so he can move that 50 points. 50 points, 39 is going to be 89. 89 is going to be an out. So it's an out on both cards. So he had an advantage, but it didn't work out that way. So it's going to be a 3. It's a ground ball to third base. Rendon throws him out. So sometimes, you know, the platoon advantage works. Sometimes it doesn't. And with 2 outs, it's going to be Jeff McNeil. McNeil's 0 for 3 today. Now, he's having a good season. He started off hitting. He's batting .344. He's got 10 home runs in the first playing the deep drive at the beginning of the season with a few of the home runs. So some guys lost a couple of home runs. Some guys gained a couple of home runs because I was learning the game, but that's okay. It's part and parcel of the fun. All right, so Kyle Bearclaw is still in there facing Jeff McNeil. That's a 0-3. That's going to be another deep drive off McNeil. Rolls a lot of deep drives, lots of deep drives. So the way you play this is going to re-roll. You're going to re-roll. That's going to be an 89. 89 is going to be 85 to 99 is insignia, which tells us ballpark card. And on the ballpark card, we roll a 2, so that's a fly ball to right center field, and that's carrying, that's gone. Jeff McNeil hits his 11th home run of the season. So he's blasting them every which way. But I'll be honest with you guys. Every time he comes up, it seems like he's rolling deep drive, whether it's deep drive on his car or deep drive on. So those things you just cannot control. It's just, there's no way. It's like he rolls at least a deep drive every game, it seems, or sometimes 2. This is his second deep drive, I believe. The first one ended up as a double. But, oh no, I'm not sure if that's true. But I know in yesterday's game he rolled deep drive twice. So it's just the nature of the beast. So in any game, that's going to happen where you just happen to roll the same thing always with that player. And I know that in my 87 APA, my APA Basic replay, Strawberry has, I think, 14 home runs in like 23 games. And he's got a home run at 11 and a home run at 66. And every time he comes up, I'm rolling either an 11 or a 66. So it's 2-1 now. And it's going to be, with 2 out, it's going to be Ahmed Rosario. 21, and that's going to be strike 3, and that retires the side. All right, so it's going to be Brian Dozier. Now, we pinch hit for our boy Syndergaard, and let's check quickly who pitched in this game. Let's see who pitched in this game. It was Seth Lugo comes in this game. He pitches a lot. Seth Lugo. Let's see if we can track him down. He's here somewhere. All right. So Seth Lugo is coming in. And he's going to face Brian Dozier. We are in the bottom of the 7th. It's 2-1 Washington. That's a 38. 38 is going to be a hard grounder to short, Ahmed Rosario. throws them out. Yan Gomes. That's a 61. That's going to be off Lugo's card. That's going to be strike 3. Lugo strikes out Gomes. And it's Wilmer Difo, shortstop. Difo batted .252 with 2 home runs and 145 plate appearances. Usually it's Trey Turner, but I think he's on the injured list. That's a 61. And a 61 is going to be a strikeout. So back-to-back Ks for Lugo. And we go to the top of the 8th. It's going to be Robbie Cano. Heart of the order. Robbie Cano, Pete Alonso, Michael Conforto. 3 big hitters. And we're going to bring in, excuse me, we are going to bring in Wander Suero to face, we're going to bring in Wander Suero right now. Although, yeah, that's fine. Let's see if I can track him. Where is he? Suero. There he is. Most of these pitchers only go 1 inning. So, and it says it right here, RP1. Now, if he gets out of an inning with 1 or 2 outs and allowing no base runners, he gets a +1. In other words, he'll be able to 1.2. So they give him 2 free outs if they don't allow any base runners in that inning when they come in when there's already 1 out. You got that's in the rule. Rules are 2 pages. These are where's the rules so I can show you. Rules are back and front. I don't know. I can't find it right now. All right. So it's Robbie Cano against Wander Suero. Mets are down by a run here, 78, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Cano is fooled and strikes out. Pete Alonso hasn't had a hit today. He's 0 for 1, 2 walks and a ground out. That's going to be a 68. This is not going to be a walk here either. Strike 3, back-to-back Ks for Wander Suero. And it's Michael Conforto. Good power. 30, and that's going to be a strikeout. So he strikes out the side. Wander Suero comes in, shows the manager that he made the right decision. So leading it off is Wander Suero. So we're going to get a pinch hitter here. Hey there, guys. Let's see. Pinch hitter. Who pinch hit for the Washington Nationals? Game 1 of a 3-game set. Doing a deep drive tutorial. Pinch hitters here for the Nationals in this game were Adrian Sanchez and Howie Kendrick. So we're going to look at see if we can bring in one of those guys, Adrian Sanchez or Howie Kendrick. Now you get all the players, which is nice. You get the whole season for $12. 2019 season. They have a few other seasons. They have 2001, 71, 85, I believe, 64. Was that? That's Anibal Sanchez. We're looking for a couple other different guys here. Yeah, Adrian Sanchez. Okay. And who's the other guy I said? I said, Howie Kendrick. Howie Kendrick should be here somewhere. There's Howie Kendrick. All right, so let's bring in Adrian Sanchez, who only had 32 plate appearances. It's a little bit more interesting. I like to bring in those guys. So he's going to hit against Lugo, who's gone. Lugo has gone how many innings? Basically, Lugo has gone 1 inning, I believe. Anthony Rendon. Yep, Lugo's gone 1 inning, so he can go 2. It says 2 right there. So he's going to stay in the game. He's going to pitch to Wander Suero. Oh, I'm sorry, to Adrian Gonzalez, who's pinch hitting. Adrian Sanchez, who's pinch hitting. Now I'll tell you a little bit about Adrian Sanchez. Adrian Sanchez batted .226, no home runs. But of course, we wouldn't know that. So we're hoping that he has a good season. I'm going to have to write him in. Adrian Sanchez. All right, here goes. Now, I just want to check one thing real quick because he's a righty specialist. You don't get many of those. So that's something that I'm not well versed in. So I'm going to pull the rules real quick, and I'm going to look at something here. Let's see what it says about splits. Okay. Batter pitcher advantage. I know it's the batter's not going to get advantage. He's a righty specialist. Well, let's see. Batter advantage exists if the pitcher's fatigued, if a left-handed specialist faces a right-handed specialist pitcher, if a right-handed specialist batter faces a left-handed specialist pitcher, right? We know that. Okay. Batter faces a left-handed team is okay. Pitcher advantage. If a left-handed specialist batter faces a left-handed specialist pitcher, left-handed specialist pitcher faces a left-handed specialist batter. A right-handed specialist batter faces a right-handed specialist batter faces a right-handed pitcher. Okay, there you go. So Lugo's going to have an advantage here. So you know what? In this case, we are going to we're not going to bring in Adrian Sanchez. So we're going to pull Adrian Sanchez. Going to call him back, and we're going to pinch hit with Howie Kendrick because we don't want him to get that big advantage here. So I'm showing you how that works. So Howie Kendrick is going to pinch hit instead of Adrian Sanchez. All right. And again, anybody who's watching, I misplaced my phone, so I don't know where it is. So if anybody's trying to text me, contact me. I'll find it. I'll track it down. Seth Lugo versus Howie Kendrick. No outs. Bottom of the eighth. 2-1 Washington Nationals in Nationals Park. That's going to be a 10. So a 10 is going to be a line drive base hit to left. McNeil plays it on the hop. Howie Kendrick is on with a pinch hit single. All right, Adam Eaton. That's a 0-4, and that's going to be ground ball up the middle and through into center field for a single. Stopping at second is going to be Kendrick. First and second, first two men get on base. Victor Robles, no bunting here, my friends. That's a 67. That's a strikeout. Robles downswing. And then now it's the Juan Soto, left fielder. That's a 21. 21 is going to be a 0-1. Wow, look at that. 21 is a base on balls, bases loaded. So Juan Soto has a high walk ratio. He had a 401 on base percentage. I guess the leaders are like highlighted on the card because that's highlighted. And Rendon is highlighted on the on base, on the batting average, and on the RBIs. I guess it denotes like a leader or a top 10 guy. So these are little idiosyncrasies of the game, which is really cool. You get the whole 2019 season for $12. You can't beat that. And it comes with all the rules and everything. Just it's all PDF. So it's Anthony Rendon now with the bases loaded. It's a 2-1 game. Okay, let's go see what happens. Mets are going to play the infield in on this. I'll show you how to do that. Be a 37. That's an out, some sort of out. That's a fly ball to right field. So the runner on third is Howie Kendrick. Let's see what kind of speed he has. Howie, where is he? Howie Kendrick is speed average, basically no grade. So we're going to look at the flyout chart, and I'll show you how to use that. Flyout chart is right here, and that was a fly to right. It was an 8 fly to right. Let me double check that. Fly to right. Yep. So it's F9. So it says Howie Kendrick is question mark. There's one out. So question mark. I can try to score him, but I'm going to hold him. Going to hold him. Now, if there had been 2 outs, he would score on the fly out. So this is very cool too. It guides you, and so forth. So that's a fly out chart. So that's going to be a flat out shallow right, and Conforto gets behind the ball, and the throw home is cut off. Howie Kendrick holds at third. So now it's going to be Gerardo Parra. He's a lefty specialist. And again, the rule. So I review the rule. Lefty specialist. The batter advantage exists if a right-handed specialist, if a left-handed specialist faces a right-handed specialist pitcher. Okay, so he's not a right-handed specialist pitcher, so Gerardo Parra doesn't get the advantage. All right, so there's 2 outs now. Let's see if Seth Lugo can get out of this jam, bases loaded jam here. The infield is back now. And here's a pitch to the Baby Shark. Oh, that's a foul ball. That's going to be a 20. That's defensive check with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. So we're going to have to roll on the defensive chart. We're going to look at this side first. We roll, say, 43. That's going to be above the error check. A 43, it's a nice low number. It's to the pitcher. See what kind of – the pitcher, Seth Lugo, is actually a 3. And a 43 under a 3 is a comebacker to Lugo. And he makes the play. So Seth Lugo gets out of a jam by making a nice defensive play. So 1-3, and that retires the side. So that was exciting. All right, so we got lucky with the roll there. Wilson Ramos here in the top of the 9th. This is where we're going to bring in Sean Doolittle. He's the closer. Sean Doolittle is going to come in. Sean Doolittle, basically closer, 1 inning. He's allowed to go 1 inning or a little bit more. Had a 4.05 ERA with 29 saves. So he struggled a little bit against the Mets on a couple of the occasions. I watched those games. All right, so it's it's 2-1, top of the 9th. Mets are bringing up Ramos, Nimmo, and Frazier, and it's Sean Doolittle in the game now, looking for the save. Here goes. We're playing deep drive baseball, doing a little bit of a tutorial. That's a 69. A 69 off Doolittle is a strikeout. So gets him on the curve. Wilson Ramos heads back to the bench. And it's Brandon Nimmo, left-handed batter. Lefty versus lefty. No real platoon advantage because of the lack of specialization. So it's going to be a 0-3. That's going to be a deep drive off of Nimmo's card. So this is the exciting part. This is the drama. We don't know what's going to happen. So Nimmo gets a hold of one and drives it deep to right center field. So back goes Eaton and Robles. Now we got to roll to see what happens here. That's a 72. Nope, a 79. And a 79 is going to be a double off the wall. So Nimmo's into second base with a 1-out double. Would have been nice to have seen a home run here tying the ball game. And now it's the Todd father, Todd Frazier, against Sean Doolittle. Tying run is at second base in a 2-1 ball game here in the top of the 9th at Nationals Park. That's going to be a 63, and a 63 is ball 4. So first and second. And this is where we're going to bring in pinch hitter J.D. Davis. J.D. Davis is going to get called on to pinch hit here for the pitcher. So Lugo is out. Seth Lugo is out, and it's J.D. Davis. Now, and I'll tell you a little about Davis. He had a heck of a year for the Mets in 2019. Batted .307, hit 22 home runs and 450 plate appearances. Played in 140 games, many of them as a pinch hitter. So there's runners on first and second. 1 out, top of the 9th. Doolittle looks in for the sign. JD Davis waits for the pitch, and that's going to be a 69. A 69 is strike three. Blows it by JD Davis for the second out. So the Mets are down to their last out. And it's going to be Jeff McNeil. McNeil, he's 1 for 4. He's grounded out, flied out, grounded out, and homered. Hit his 11th home run of the season. So he's really gotten started with a lot of power. All right, so it's going to be Sean Doolittle versus Jeff McNeil. And that's going to be a 27. That's a defensive check. What a way to end the game, or for that to happen in the last out. All right, so it's a defensive check. All right, so we're going to roll here on defensive chart. Excuse me. Actually, the 27. The 27 is right. It tells us the defense. Okay, so we're going to roll again here. And that's a 45. So that's going to be to the catcher. And it's a little dribbler. Yan Gomes comes out from behind the plate. And let's look at Yan Gomes here very quickly, see what kind of catcher he is. Yan Gomes is 3. He fires the first, McNeil, and the ball game is over. Yan Gomes made a nice play to get McNeil, and it's going to be a 2. The game ends on a little dribbler that Gomes gets to and throws out McNeil, and the ball game is over 2-3. And that's all she wrote for the tutorial today for Deep Drive Baseball. I hope this helps if you want to get into the game. It plays very, very fast. It's intuitive. It's abstracted in certain ways. It's got a lot of little idiosyncrasies that are kind of unique to it, which is kind of cool. The victory is going to go to Hellickson. And the loss is going to go to Syndergaard. Save is going to be for Sean Doolittle. And we got 2 more games. The next game, I'll tell you who's going to pitch in that game, what the matchups are. The matchups in game 2, let's see. Matchups in game 2 are going to be Wilmer Font versus Patrick Corbin. Wilmer Font, Patrick Corbin. In reality, the Nationals win that 5-1. Wilmer Font versus Patrick Corbin in game 2. Benny Blades, good morning, brother. I can't find my phone, so it's vanished, so I'm looking for it. Eventually, I'll get it, find it somewhere. I was cleaning up last night, making space on my shelves, ordering stuff, because I got like 20 shelves and I got no space, and that's because I just throw stuff on the shelf. So just giving you the heads up. I will look for my phone now. I'm going to take a little break, go over this tutorial video. I think it's going to hit on some of the questions, okay? And that's it. Mets lose this one, but it was a heck of a game, 2-1. The line score on this is New York, 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors, 9 left on base. The Nationals, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and 6 left on base. And that's it for CP, and I'm broadcasting from your home for chat, tutorials, strategy, player profiles, history, news, and lots more. And this is CP Cards and Dice saying, keep rolling, guys.